App Planning for Success. Brought to you by Software Accelerator Playbook. On Instagram at S.A.Playbook. Today on the podcast, we're talking about what it feels like to be stuck under mountains of information. So much to deal with, so many details, and what you can do about it. Now, as you're planning your app, you're focused on, the research, looking for other people who are doing the same thing, thinking about, different visions and ideas and features and all these things. And, at some point, you end up having so much information there that it starts to feel overwhelming, right? Maybe you've pivoted a few times. Maybe, you're trying to figure out just, what's my target? Where am I going? And sometimes it can feel like, really frustrating kind of mountain of just sludge to get through. What am I doing and how do I focus and all this and all that? And so, really the best way to kind of approach this, or one of the best ways to approach this, is to really focus on what kind of success you want people to have as they go through your app, right? So instead of thinking about, the app is going to have this and the app is going to have that, and I want this feature and I want that feature, think only for a second at least about what the customer wants, what they want to achieve, what are they looking for, what specifically are they trying to do, and what does success look like for them, right? Where are you going in the app? If they're using your app, right, what is success? Define success for your person who's the best person who's going to be using this app. Define out successes. And as you can define out successes, this can now be your North Star, that if you want to add a feature in the future, if you want to, add this or add that, take that away, whatever it is, you've now got this clear vision of, okay, this is what they need to do. This is what success is for them. So if I'm not helping them get there faster or more efficiently, then maybe it's not something that I need to do right now. It's really easy to have, things get bloated, things kind of just, expand farther than they need to, which again, it's kind of like, weighing down a plane, right? Do you want to put a ton of cargo into a plane? Or maybe just keep it light for the first time you want to take it off, and then maybe the second time you can weigh it down a little bit more. So the idea is trying to cut things out. And if you've got this North Star of what is success in the eyes of your perfect customer, what are they doing? Why are they using it? Then that's really a fantastic thing. And once you've got that, now you can come up with some sort of decision tree. And by decision tree, what I mean is kind of this hierarchy of decision making, right? So first they've got to choose kind of, here's an example, but they've got to choose kind of one bucket to go into. Once they're inside the bucket, maybe then they look at different options there. Maybe they favorite a few things. And then from there, maybe they choose, the best favorite out of all those. And then once they've got that, then they kind of go in and they finalize whatever's going on there, and then they save it, and then they're done, right? It's a whole kind of flow of like decision making. What decision do they make first? What decision do they make second? And really try to map out kind of in this decision tree, what flow you want them to go through. Now, if you do not define a process for people for what to do first, what to do second, what to do third, then you are leaving it up to them to have to come up with this plan. And that's hard for most people, right? Most people, they're obviously in our different industries and different jobs and things, we've got to figure it out. We've got to figure out, how to do certain things, and we kind of have our own flows and systems. But ultimately that takes time, and that takes refinement, and it takes, coming back to the table again and again to be able to fix it and to figure out exactly what we're doing. And so if you're having somebody use your new app, and, not only are they trying to, understand what the app is, but then you leave it kind of open-ended in terms of, how they get to success, you might not actually be helping them. You actually might be hurting them in the way that they will be then, confused and wondering, well, what do I do next? Or what am I supposed to do? Or where am I supposed to go? Or the idea of feeling like that they're not really getting anywhere. So you can imagine the idea here, the vision of like a zip tie, right? With a zip tie, when you make it a little bit smaller, when you pull it through, it clicks, and then you can't go back anymore. So every single time, you can only go one direction, right? You make a decision, click. Now that one's done. You're not going backwards. It's not open-ended whether or not you made that decision. You made that decision, and then you lock it in. And then on top of that, you build another decision, right? Or underneath that, you build another decision. The idea is that you lock something in, And then, moving forward from there, then you make another decision. As opposed to, hey, maybe make a decision over here, maybe make a decision over there, and, maybe one day you'll be done. No. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. Step 3, do this. So the idea there is that you're helping them, you're walking them through, hey, first, all I need you to do is just make this step 1 decision, right? What's the name of the project going to be? Or what's the point of the bucket is going to be? Whatever, however you have it flowing in your app, the things that they've got to choose first, whether they need to choose an event or choose a project or choose a place to save it or choose a name or whatever it is. The simplest first step, they should lock it in and then be done with it. And then after that, they should be presented now with another decision. And then they lock that in and then they're done. And can they go back and customize? Sure. But the idea is that you're creating a process. You are taking the time to refine a process for them to use, to follow, so that if they don't come up with their own system, that they can easily fall into yours. Okay, so the idea here, maybe the vision is like a rut, right? If you're creating a rut in a field, in a muddy field, if you drive over the same area, 200 times, there's going to be a really, really deep rut created where the wheels have now dug into the mud. And if somebody else comes along, they're probably going to follow that same path. It's probably easier for them to just follow that path instead of following a new one. And so the idea here is that if you have a good system, if you understand what kind of success they're looking for, if you understand well what you're doing, then as other people come along and they will have more success by using your system than by inventing their own. And with an app, that's part of the deal here, is that you want to help make it as simple as possible for people to flow towards success. Defining it, making it very clear what decision they're making on which page, not having 10 different decisions on the same page, but 1 or 2 decisions, maybe max on a page. And then if they open that up, then maybe they can make some more decisions. But ultimately, every single page should have a primary decision. What are they doing on this page? And then once they do that, how do they then get to the next step to make the next decision? And so if you lay it out like this, if you plan like this, not planning in terms of, opening up, Photoshop or Figma or Adobe XD or whatever, any of these other softwares, but actually just thinking about what decision are they making? Don't get caught in, hey, the button needs to be orange and it needs to be up here and it needs to be this big. Don't get caught in that for now. Focus on the decisions that they're making. Focus on the success that they want to have. And use that as your North Star to just clarify, first they need to make this decision, second they need to make that decision to get to this success. And once you've got that, then now you've got this flow, this wonderful flow of understanding how they need to make decisions in order to have success. And then when it comes time to actually design the user interface and how things look, now you are modeling this on top of a clear plan. You're creating this not just because it looks cool, not just because it looks nice, but because it's actually functionally exactly the flow that they need to go to have success. So if you're feeling like you're under a mountain of information right now, you've got a million different directions to go, start with that North Star of success and then work from there to create those decision points one after the other, a process that they can follow, and that'll be kind of like the skeleton or the bones that you can then overlay the graphics on top of to then activate that, allow them to actually move through that by clicking buttons, etc., etc., etc. Now, if you want help with this, if you want help walking through all this information, you're kind of struggling to kind of deal with all this info, you want a fresh pair of eyes on it, and you want some insight to really help navigate this, please hit me up on Instagram at S.A.Playbook and get the conversation started. Just go to the profile there, instagram.com at S.A.Playbook, and click send message and get the conversation started. Thanks for being here. Talk to you tomorrow.